Yeah, we're very unique here in Ohio. Only 2% of local governments across the country are funded by an individual income tax. And so that puts Ohio cities, at very grave risk. And we have colleagues in cities around the state that are already furloughing and laying off employees. And as you know, basic city services all focus around safety and health. And so cops and firefighters will be part of those folks laid off. But 78% of our revenue for core city services comes from income tax. And obviously, we've got a very diverse economy here. Our largest private sector employers, many of those employees have worked remotely, so they're continuing to pay income tax. But we also have, major, public sector employers here in Central Ohio as well. And so, with reduced revenue, obviously contemplating reductions in workforce.
Sure, and I want to go more into that, but I also want people to be aware of, and we're showing some of these companies that are headquartered in Ohio. They actually include a lot of retailers, Abercrombie & Fitch, DSW, Express, and L Brands. Is that an additional hit, or are the other companies there, Scotts Miracle-Gro, American Electric Power Utility, are they able to kind of offset the direct hit? And I should mention, as you discussed this, I mean, you guys kind of helped to lead the way out of the 08-09 downturn. You did, quite well, and maybe in that way helped Ohio recover. It seems like it could be very different this time around.
Absolutely. And, the metros of Ohio provide 80% of the economy. We had the fastest growing economy in the Midwest before COVID-19. And you're right. I mean, before the Great Recession, Columbus was thought to be recession-proof because of the balance and the diversity of our economy. But, this is what we learned after the Great Recession is no one is recession-proof. And so there is going to be a hit here. We're already looking at reductions in revenue for the second and third quarter, contemplating does this become a larger recession that lasts into next year, or are we able to recover faster than that? But you mentioned the Brookings report. And because of Ohio's over-reliance on income tax revenue for local governments and cuts at the state level in the local government fund, it's put a lot of Ohio cities in a dangerous situation.
So what options do you have now? Other sources of taxes, property taxes, maybe emergency sales taxes, that sort of thing? Or do you just try to fix this by cutting revenues, which I imagine, you can only cut so much?
Absolutely, and there are many cities
spending,
around.
Go ahead.
Yeah, many cities around Ohio that made cuts to the bone, before the Great Recession, and so they are just offering the basic essential services now. We have about $100 million in savings for roughly $1 billion general fund budget, and so we have some resources to try to weather this storm. But we're also making hard decisions. Obviously, no travel, and we've been able to realize about $25 million in savings just during the first quarter or so. By tightening our belts and looking at what we're spending resources on, and even those resources that had already been appropriated, we held back on, anticipating the economic crisis that we're trying to weather right now.
Is it possible that your revenue, if they're income tax related, will be more delayed than destroyed?
There is that possibility, but this is why the fourth round of stimulus is so important, why we're pushing so hard, and we're really blessed. We have a bipartisan coalition of U.S. senators, Senator Rob Portman and Senator Sherrod Brown, that have made funding for states and local governments to replace lost revenue a top priority as we move into phase 4, and additional flexibility. We receive resources through the CARES Act that we need additional flexibility to help deal with some of the negative economic impacts that have happened as a result of this. But it makes phase 4 so important. And quite honestly, since cities and metros, not just in this state or around the country, are so important to any kind of sustainable growth recovery, those metro areas have to be safe. I chair the Metro Economies Council for the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and many of the reports that we've done show just how critically important our metros are to our local, state, and national economy.
Absolutely. Mayor Ginther, thank you. Best wishes to you.